challenges that we are facing, but then we should be ready to go.
Hey everyone.
Here we are.
Yep. Sorry for the delay.
Okay. We got you. No worries at all.
No worries.
Okay, well, it works perfectly as I think we've now got more people sort of streaming in. How are you doing today, Andres? You doing good?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking. How are you guys doing?
Very well, very well. I'm looking forward to the space actually. Really excited to hear what humans doing and also let the audience have an opportunity to hear about the proposal. So I think without further ado, seeing as we've got everyone, can we just start with a round of introductions from each of you?
Brilliant. Yeah, thanks for having us. So I'm just going to go ahead. My name is Andreas Schemm. I'm Ecosystem and Operations Director at Human, and I'm very happy to be here and also very much looking forward to discussing governance, routing protocol, and what we can do with Wormhole.
Nice. I'll go next. My name is Alex. I'm a researcher at Jump, kind of focusing on general crypto R&D. And within that, focus recently has been on governance as well as being a contributor to Wormhole. So yeah, excited to discuss this new Wormhole proposal to bringing the routing protocol cross-chain, enabling cross-chain governance for human.
Sweet. That sounds good. I'm David, and I'm marketing manager and community manager at Wormhole. And my colleague Josh is actually the one who is hosting this space today.
Yeah, I get the honor of being the official Wormhole account and sort of pulling the strings. So yeah, thanks everyone, and hi everyone to the audience. This space is actually going to be on the Wormhole proposal to bring human protocol cross-chain. So first off, Andreas, what is human protocol?
Yeah, of course. So Human Protocol is what the name suggests, a protocol to bring work on chain. What that means is that we have, or are rather still developing a platform for the future of work. That means any kind of job, any kind of task or request can be tokenized and brought into the Web3 space, which we are doing. We have already started so with a focus on the machine learning industry, where we are already labeling over 20 million tasks per month. So quite exciting.
Whoa, 20 million tasks a month? That's crazy. And I guess, David, what is Wormhole?
Sure, I just wanted to jump in there and ask all kind of questions, but let me first give an overview about what Wormhole is. So at its very core, Wormhole is an interoperability protocol that allows different projects to build on top of it and use its generic message passing layer. So what that actually means is, in its very core, Wormhole allows to send messages across several different chains, but those messages are really powerful. It's not just like a text message that you would send to your girlfriend, but those messages can do all kinds of things like bridge fungible and non-fungible tokens. You could conduct cross-chain governance. You could transmit Oracle data from chain to chain, or you could use just a single one Web3 identity across all different chains that you're on. And those are just a few functions that Wormhole allows. Regarding Wormhole, another important thing to mention is that Wormhole is entirely chain agnostic. So it's not built on Ethereum or Solana or any other chain. So it's not tied to any chain. So we are like the maximalists of how do we call ourselves, Josh? The maximalists of
the anti-maximalists of crypto.
Exactly. So we're not tied to any one chain. And currently Wormhole is supporting 19 different chains, and we just recently added support for Aptos, I think 2 weeks ago. And this was pretty exciting because like on the same day that the Aptos mainnet launched, we just like a few hours later were able to onboard the new chain onto Wormhole, and yeah, we're super excited about this, and we're continuing this each and every week. I think we're onboarding a new chain every 2 weeks or so right now, and that's where we're at from the Wormhole side.
Cool. I think Andreas, you wanted to jump in there.
No, I just say everybody's always trying to be to maximizing things. So saying we're or you're the anti to that, I just love it.
Yeah. I really like the anti-maximalist sort of ethos that we have. I mean, we've run a fair few memes around it as well. But okay, cool. So let's get into the meat and potato of why we're here, I guess. So Andreas, I'd love to hear, what is the routing protocol? Why should people care? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So the routing protocol is really our version 2 upgrade, because it handles how every third party interacts with each other and with the core protocol as well. So that means anyone who wants to provide a service within Human Protocol, wants to work within it, launch jobs, will be what we call an operator on the routing protocol. And the routing protocol defines not only how they interact with each other, but also how they can be discovered, how jobs are being routed, hence the name, within our protocol, and offers a few new opportunities as well. So, for example, the governance part, which is what we are proposing with you guys as well. But basically, it really handles how we define our multi-chain approach, how that works, how we can send traffic and jobs to where. And one of the reasons that it's very important is that everybody who wants to operate on the routing protocol needs to have skin in the game, as in HMT staked, and based on some metrics, then liquidity will be sent to whatever chain is available, has enough liquidity, which is why bridging is also important, to have liquidity on every chain that the job gets also listed on. And yeah, governance is obviously a key part of what we are building, and should be a key part of any decentralized project, really. So this is why we are very excited to work with you guys, and which is also why we think it's a great incentive to the community, so that they can propose more and yeah, share discussions, share ideas, and I can't wait to see what people come up with that we haven't thought of.
Do you guys have a sense where kind of the core of these operators will be on, like which particular chain? Or do you think it'll be more distributed just because like different chains might be kind of better used for different jobs, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So for most of the oracles, for example, that do some heavy lifting in terms of analyzing the quality of work, doing the payouts, and even identifying the work pools, they will sit on every single chain, which is we have a maintainer program for that to port it to any chain that wants to work with us, that has the right metrics for us, basically. Of course, there are certain projects that are better suited for certain chains. For example, we are working on getting our grants program connected with grants programs from other chains, so that we have basically also the opportunity to do chain-specific projects. But in general, it's quite obvious that, for example, if we have lots of micro jobs, we cannot do it through Ethereum, even if the fees have gotten lower. So yeah, that's why we need different chains to just be perfectly suited for different use cases.
And what chains are you on at the moment?
Yes. So we are. So the token launch was obviously on Ethereum, but we have since gone. I think we see the most traffic currently on Polygon, but we have ported it to Binance Smart Chain as well. Moonbeam. We have, I believe, are close to finishing it with Scale as well as Avalanche. And we're working on a couple more, like Aurora Labs, Neon Labs. We have contacts with Tron, looking at OKX, so a couple in the works.
Nice. Why do you think that most of the users have been kind of aggregating around Polygon? So I've been hearing a similar thing from a few, other projects who have multiple deployments. That Polygon's typically very popular.
Yes, that is one of the reasons. It's also one of the first ones who worked with us and helped us get a maintainer and an integration. So I think it's just something that's being used to it. They also have yeah, just good metrics, good liquidity, and are a good partner. But we believe that with the routing protocol going up, it will be a lot more diversified, because right now it's not as free floating as it will be with the routing protocol.
Nice. Are you guys planning to build in some kind of like cross operator interactions into the, I guess, into the routing protocol to make that kind of robust thing on chain, or do you think that's just going to come kind of naturally, sort of outside of the routing protocol?
Yeah, we would love that. Actually, especially with our grants program, we are connecting people building different services there already. And our goal is to be multi-everything, so multi-service providers for every single part of the routing protocol, basically. And yeah, we are looking into the cross-chain interoperability for every kind of service, but that is actually something where we look at Wormhole as well. So we have not fully settled that yet. I think it's a step-by-step progress. And it's also something where it's really up to the community how far they want to go.
Yeah, I guess on so what are the exact reasons to build the routing protocol? And I guess a sort of advance from that is in the proposal. There's also a governance model. How does that work?
Yeah, of course. So with the governance model, we really want to have more well, direct feedback by the community, from the community. And what we are looking into is building that in a way where we have seen a lot of, how do you want to call it, flash loan attacks, rug pulls, and stuff like that. So what we are looking into with a conviction voting model is unlocking voting power over time. And basically, how it will work probably is that we have some kind of voting token, and then we want to have the community have proposals ready by themselves, so that anyone who has a great idea can come forward and yeah, propose literally whatever they want to be built. And we're hoping to get more and more interactive community. We already see a lot of open source work being done, getting constantly more pull requests. So that is going great. We want to extend that not just to the technical, but also to the, let's say, more commercial business level as well. So that is a big reason to build the governance, and who better than to build it with you guys.
Do you think that the kind of the magistrate will sort of be like decentralized over time, and then where users can actually submit votes directly? I mean, I know we're going to get into kind of the overall design of the kind of wormhole governance system, but this was just kind of a question I had when we were thinking through sort of how to design this.
Yeah, of course. And thank you for reminding me. I need to introduce the magistrate, obviously. So in the beginning, we have 5 people that are not directly from within the human ecosystem, so they don't work for human at all. But these are people who are experts in the Web3 space with financial, legal background, tech background, business background. So they will be judging if a proposal is actually harmful. And if it is, it won't go through for voting. So this is for an initial year, just so that the process can settle and form. I think that's part of progressive decentralization, basically. And after a year, this will be up for voting. So there's no guarantee that these 5 people will be there forever. If they do a great job, maybe the community wants them to stay. Maybe they want to see someone else. So this is really just an in-between for now, that we have a council who can weed out obviously harmful things, because, yeah, we have seen too many issues and too much hacks, basically, so that we want to start with this council. But again, this is not controlled by us or anything. These are 5 people with extensive background in the Web3 space who can judge this kind of stuff, and the community can decide if they like it or not.
Yeah, I definitely think it's an interesting kind of primitive to begin with. Or as you said, like in this kind of idea of progressive decentralization, I think it's important when DAOs spin up originally to actually have a lot of kind of momentum and velocity. And another thing that could perhaps kind of happen over time is that this one magistrate could then split up into potentially a couple other magistrates that essentially act as sub DAOs. So a lot of other big DAOs, like Aave, for example, uses this kind of sub-DAO model that I think has worked well because it's a nice middle ground between like this tragedy of the commons, everybody can vote and propose, versus the more centralized, but I guess you could say sometimes more efficient, like centralized committee approach.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not like the community cannot do proposals. It's just that the magistrate will take a look at it. So the community will be able to propose it. But if it's detrimental, not really fleshed out, or in any other way harmful, then it won't see the light of day basically for a full-on community vote. But definitely the community can, and we actually encourage that, should please come forward with proposals in the future.
Yeah, I guess I want to ask a question as well around community. I know you said you guys have moved onto a bunch of chains now, and with the amount of messages that you the amount of tasks, sorry, that you said that you have earlier. I'd love to ask the question: where do you see the community going in this, and how do you see sort of managing such a large community, especially when they're spread across multiple chains?
Yeah, absolutely. That will be a task on its own for sure. Luckily, we have a great team around community, and we're constantly expanding that. And one of the things, and Maxime is listening in, so I won't spoil too much because that's his baby. But basically, with an upcoming rework to our ambassador program, we hope to incentivize more people to pick up the helm and charge for their own respective community and chain. So we definitely want to work with something like by the community for the community. And we have seen this with maintainers already. So maintainers are basically the people who integrate human onto the respective chain and continue to keep that integration maintained, as the name suggests. So update it, do bug fixes, etc. And we hope to do the same with community management as well in the future.
That sounds pretty cool. Really excited about that. So one thing that I was wondering, you mentioned you had more than 20 million jobs posted already. So what do these jobs usually look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I said tasks because that is literally what it is. And this is mainly machine learning, data labeling tasks. So it's, for example, images. It's basically training algorithms to understand things better. For example, this could be like a captcha. Everybody who has been into the internet knows how this works. Is this a boat? Is this a river? Tell me where the traffic lights are, etc. So this is really data labeling and machine learning right now, which is why the number can get so high, because that's it's work that can be done on a micro level, and that's basically what the 20 million jobs consist of, because that's also where our background comes from, and we're seeing a constant increase. So last year we had 200,000 signups, and now we're up to 20 million tasks, and we are constantly working to expand to other areas as well. For example, news or reviews, even into gaming and stuff like that. We have a couple of very interesting projects that went through our grants program that will hopefully see the light of day in Q1.
And how does human attest to whether the tasks have actually been completed?
So we have a system that's called we have recording and reputation oracles, and the recording oracle. So how it works in machine learning is the recording oracle checks against something that's called a holdback validation set. So anybody who requests data labeling and machine learning, they will provide what a perfect answer would look like. And then our oracles, which is an algorithm that checks this against this answer. And if the answer is good enough, then it will be accepted. And it's not good enough, it will be rejected and sent back to the pool until we have enough good answers. With machine learning, this is not simple, but easier. If you would look at something like design, a recording oracle can never say, yeah, this is a great design. It can say it's according to the format. So, for example, if I wanted a JPEG that's maximum 5,000 megabytes with 4,000 to 4,000 resolution, it can check that. So, yeah, there is a dispute or abuse button that you can check to say this is something where I'm not happy with the answer, or this is an image that I didn't want to see. So we're expanding on that front constantly.
Yeah, great. And All right, now I kind of want to bring it back onto the wormhole proposal. I'd love to hear from you, Alex. What exactly is the wormhole proposal?
Sure. So I can kind of go into it, but first, sort of on a high level, I think you can divide the proposal into two parts. So the first part is basically allowing human to go cross-chain and have these different operators actually be paid for their services. So that includes using kind of the core wormhole token bridge called Portal, effectively to bridge HMT over from probably Ethereum to these other chains. So you can, that's kind of the first step, I think, in enabling human going cross-chain. The second one, and almost kind of more importantly for the sustainability of the protocol over time, is this cross-chain governance module that we designed. So at a high level, this can be broken down really into this hub and spoke model, which has really become kind of like the archetypical design for protocols building on top of Wormhole that use its cross-chain messaging capabilities that David had alluded to in the beginning. So the nice part about this is because Wormhole is quite general in its design, you can not only bridge tokens, but you can also send any arbitrary messages, which allows for cross-chain governance to be implemented relatively easily on top of Wormhole. So effectively, we have one designated chain, probably going to be Ethereum, I think, just because I think kind of most battle tested, arguably most secure, but depends on who you talk to. However, just because that was one of the chains that human originated on, I think it makes sense to designate that as the hub. So this is essentially where all the votes will be submitted directly by the magistrate in the beginning. So there will be a kind of an off-chain process where either the kind of human team or advisory board will submit proposals to the magistrate, and then probably after a year or so, then any HMT holder will be able to submit these proposals. Then the magistrate will filter through these, post a proposal on chain to the governance hub. This will then emit a message to these different contracts that we call governance spokes, as effectively on any human chain, any human chain that the community wants. And basically, these governance spokes will accept the message from Wormhole, signed by all the kind of Wormhole guardians, verify that it's true, and then it will decode the contents, which will effectively specify what the details of the proposal, the time frame to vote, etc. Then any HMT holder on these chains, so let's say I'm an HMT holder on Solana, for example, I usually use Solana to interact with any HMT like human operator, then I will submit a vote to this governance spoke chain. Then after a certain period of time, which can be parameterized by governance, these different spokes will then send a Wormhole message basically back to the hub. The hub will decode the message. They'll first verify that the message is correct, then decode it. And in the decoding, it will get the votes and tally up the votes. So then by the time that the voting period is over, it will essentially have a tally of votes from any chain that human is deployed on, or that the routing protocol rather is deployed on, and then we'll see whether it's yes or no. Depending on number of votes, of course, whether there's a quorum or there's a minimum threshold of votes or minimum percentage of votes for a vote to pass. These will all probably be decided, I think, by governance in the spirit of decentralization. Then the main contract, the governance hub contract on Ethereum probably will then decide whether the vote, we'll finish the vote, say kind of which side won, and then it will send a message to Wormhole, which will then be transmitted to all the different governance spoke contracts, which will register the result. And then anyone on a chain that the governance spoke contract is deployed on, so say Solana, will then be able to read this information off the chain and act accordingly.
So that's a lot to unpack. Where can users find out more? And then I guess I also want to ask the question, why does that all matter? What is the importance of what we're doing in the end? And how is Wormhole actually adding something?
Sure. So I think to the first, happy to kind of dive deeper into any components. I know, I know it's a bit complicated, of course. Anything cross-chain at the moment you have to get a bit into the weeds, but the best place would look at the Medium posts kind of describing this human Wormhole integration for cross-chain governance, and that should be linked. I think it should be potentially pinned or a recent tweet on the Wormhole profile, as well as for human. And the kind of second question, happy to get my response, would like to turn over, I think, to human first, just to hear like what do they think, like how important do they think governance is to the kind of routing protocol and humans' longevity in general.
Yeah, of course. I think it's very important because, well, any Web3 project really lives by the community, and to enable their participation and just get their brain power online as well is just very, very interesting and important to us, because they will think of things that we can never think of. We have seen this already with our ambassador and grants program, where we get things into and get feature requests that we have never thought of. And this is just the way any decentralized project should go. So it's very important to us to build this and to enable it. Yeah, and looking forward to walking that mile with you guys.
And Andreas, I'd love to ask, what advantages is the Wormhole integration actually bringing to the human routing protocol?
Yeah, so we see this especially with the bridging solution. That's very, very interesting to us. We obviously value your experience greatly as well. We are looking to getting onto Solana directly in Q1 too. So there's lots of aspects where, yeah, it just needs to be done correctly. It needs to be done with someone who knows what they're doing, with someone who we can work with. And your proposal just reads very interesting and aligns completely with what we are looking to achieve, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we can't be more excited to actually put this proposal out in the first place. Both you and Alex have talked to actually how important cross-chain governance is, and also, you were just saying there how much actually Wormhole brings to the table of making that a reality. Right, before we sort of come to the end of the space, is there anything, Alex, David, or Andreas, is there anything else that you'd want to talk on?
No, I think that's pretty much everything on my end. Kind of just want to reiterate how important like governance is, I think, for protocols specifically. I mean, that's one of the core sort of selling points and tenets, crypto, Web3, however you may call it, is having like the actual users of the protocol not only have a stake in it, but also being able to kind of make decisions as a group. And I think for something like human that's so dependent on having a lot of, I think, unique users using the protocol, it makes sense to give them a voice. Not only the ones that are on using a main chain like Ethereum, for example, where they might be priced out from even participating in governance, but any user on any chain that human supports, allowing them to, I think, contribute to the longevity and sort of growth of the protocol on that native chain, not being priced out from doing that, is quite important. And as Andreas said, I think Wormhole is, this is a great use of Wormhole's kind of generic messaging, as well as kind of battle-tested nature.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just enables our own multi-chain approach so much. And I mean, we would be a weird project if we call ourselves human, and then not try to get as many human interactions with it as possible. So yeah, there's that.
David, any final thoughts, or anyone else?
Yeah, and then,
after you.
Sorry, no, Andreas.
No, please, after you.
I was just about to say that looking forward to get to know you guys, like the human team and the human community, in a couple of days on Thursday, I think, at the human meetup in Lisbon. That's pretty exciting.
You took the words out of my mouth. I just wanted to highlight that if you have any more questions and you're attending Solana Breakpoint, find us. You can find our meetup online. It will be on Thursday at 5 p.m. local time. We're very happy to have you guys on board with us as well, not only through this journey, but also at our meetup. And for those interesting, I think the community voting will start tomorrow on our Discord server. And otherwise, yeah, looking forward to meeting you, hanging out in Lisbon, and working with you along the way.
Yeah, pretty cool. I just tested it today, and right now, if you Google human meetup Lisbon, it's your meetup that's coming up. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
And
it's amazing.
and the vote in Discord is going on until the 2nd of November. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. So that hopefully
Awesome.
we can discuss it on the 3rd.
Awesome. So it's 48 hours, right?
Exactly. And with the meetup, I think we have a couple hundred signups actually. So it's shaping out to be a good one.
Perfect.
Right. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you to the audience. I hope this has sort of cleared up a lot of details on what human is, what Wormhole is, and what exactly Wormhole are proposing to do. As you heard, Andreas and David speaking on there. The vote actually starts tomorrow on Human's Discord, so make sure to go and check that out. Also, go check out Human on Twitter and come and check us out on Twitter as well. We'd love to have you in our community. Thanks again for everyone coming, and I'm sure we'll speak again soon.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. Thanks a lot.
Thank you guys, and see
Good
you
day,
all
everyone.
in Lisbon.
Yeah, see everyone on Thursday.
Bye-bye.
Perfect. Bye-bye.